I don't think anybody is prepared for the catastrophe coming with Real ID.
Yeah.
May 7th,
Your face is now your boarding pass, whether you like it or not. Airports across America are quietly rolling out facial recognition systems that can identify and track you without your explicit consent. And what's happening behind the scenes is more disturbing than most travelers realize. Think about the last time you traveled. Did you notice that small camera at the TSA checkpoint or boarding gate? The one they assured you was just making things faster. That innocent-looking device is part of a massive biometric database system that's rapidly expanding across every major airport in the country. When officials claim these images are deleted right away, they're not telling the whole story. These systems create digital maps of your facial features that can be stored, shared, and cross-referenced across government databases. And despite reassurances about privacy protections, internal documents reveal these systems operate with minimal oversight and even less transparency. The technology itself is far more advanced than what the public has been told. These aren't simple cameras. They're sophisticated AI-driven systems that can identify you in milliseconds, track your movements throughout the terminal, and even analyze your behavior patterns for anything deemed unusual. But the tracking crisis is about to get much worse. On May 7th, the long-delayed Real ID requirement finally kicks in, creating what security experts predict will be unprecedented chaos at airports nationwide. TSA checkpoints, already notoriously inefficient, will face a perfect storm as countless travelers discover their current licenses won't get them through security. Industry insiders predict hours-long delays at major hubs as unprepared passengers are turned away or forced to undergo additional screening measures. What's particularly concerning is the lack of public awareness. Despite years of warnings and multiple deadline extensions, surveys show that nearly 40% of Americans remain completely unaware of the Real ID requirement. And of those who are aware, many have put off getting the new ID due to confusion about the process or difficulty scheduling appointments at overwhelmed DMV offices. What exactly makes a Real ID different? These enhanced IDs require additional documentation and feature special security elements, but they also create a standardized national identification system that privacy advocates have warned about for years. The documentation requirements are extensive. Birth certificates, social security cards, proof of residence, all digitized and stored in government databases. Each ID contains machine-readable technology that allows for instant verification against these databases. The DHS claims this creates better security, but the evidence supporting this claim remains suspiciously thin. No major terrorist incident has been linked to insufficient ID verification in domestic air travel since 9/11, raising questions about the true purpose of such an extensive system. More concerning is what happens to all this additional data. The Real ID Act created interconnected DMV databases across all 50 states, essentially establishing a national ID system without explicitly calling it one. This centralization creates not only privacy concerns, but also significant security vulnerabilities. A single breach could compromise millions of Americans' most sensitive personal information. The constitutional implications are even more alarming. Legal experts argue these tracking systems potentially violate both Fourth and Fifth Amendment protections. By collecting and processing biometric data without a warrant, the government is essentially conducting searches without probable cause. The Fourth Amendment explicitly protects against unreasonable searches and seizures, yet these systems search and catalog your biometric data without any suspicion of wrongdoing. As one civil liberties attorney put it, they're treating ordinary people as criminal suspects, simply for engaging in normal activities like travel. The Fifth Amendment concerns revolve around self-incrimination and due process. When your biometric data is collected, analyzed, and potentially used against you without your knowledge, fundamental questions of fairness and due process arise. Several legal challenges are already working their way through the courts, though the government has fought vigorously to prevent judicial review. What's most troubling is how the government uses convenience as the perfect Trojan horse. People willingly surrender their privacy for the promise of saving a few minutes in line. Services like Clear go even further, charging premium fees for the privilege of giving away your most personal biometric information. The psychology behind this is brilliant, yet disturbing. By making the standard security process increasingly onerous, authorities create demand for faster alternatives that require biometric submission. It's a false choice. Either suffer through lengthy lines or surrender your biometric privacy. As Benjamin Franklin famously warned, those who sacrifice liberty for security deserve neither. But what about those who trade essential freedoms for mere convenience? The exchange rate has never been worse, yet Americans are making this trade by the millions every day. Those who do question these systems are often dismissed as paranoid or accused of having something to hide. This effective social pressure silences legitimate concerns and normalizes increasingly invasive surveillance measures. For everyday travelers, the implications are immediate. Your movements can now be tracked not just at security checkpoints, but throughout terminals and potentially beyond. Advanced AI systems can analyze your behavior patterns, flag suspicious movements, and even predict your future actions based on historical data. What happens to this information? That's where transparency fails completely. There are few clear guidelines about data retention, sharing between agencies, or what constitutes proper use. Information collected for security purposes can easily migrate to law enforcement, intelligence agencies, or even private contractors with minimal oversight. Particularly concerning are the error rates inherent in these systems. Facial recognition technology still struggles with accuracy, especially for women and people of color. A false match could lead to missed flights, unnecessary interrogations, or even placement on watch lists with little recourse for those affected. Where's this heading? Industry insiders reveal plans to expand these systems to other transportation hubs, public spaces, and even retail environments. The airport is just the beginning of a comprehensive tracking network that will eventually follow you from your morning commute to your evening shopping trip. Documents obtained through Freedom of Information requests show coordination between federal agencies and local law enforcement to create unified surveillance systems spanning multiple jurisdictions. Airports serve as the perfect testing ground, a controlled environment where people are already conditioned to surrender certain rights in the name of security. The technology continues to advance rapidly. Next-generation systems can identify individuals at greater distances, through crowds, and even by gait analysis when faces aren't visible. Combined with other data sources like mobile phone tracking, social media analysis, and financial transactions, a complete picture of your life becomes available to authorities with minimal effort. The most disturbing question isn't whether we're being watched, it's whether we still have the power to opt out. As these systems become mandatory, the choice to maintain privacy disappears. And once that choice is gone, can we ever get it back? History suggests that surveillance powers, once granted, are rarely relinquished voluntarily. Each new crisis brings calls for expanded monitoring, but the rollback after the danger passes rarely materializes. Instead, extraordinary measures become normalized, setting the stage for the next expansion. Next time you're at an airport and that camera flashes, remember, your face isn't just your boarding pass. It's now government property in a database you can't access, used for purposes you haven't approved, in a system with implications we're only beginning to understand. The question isn't whether you have something to hide, it's whether anything will remain hidden in the world we're building.